Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Noah Webster said these great words to live by. God's Word, contained in the Bible, has furnished all the necessary rules to direct our conduct. Amen. I just wish we would. Morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America on a Tuesday. I know I'm going to say it wrong before the morning's over. Have a good one. Here's Kate. And a good morning to you. Zeb at the Ranch. I think I'm Zeb Bell. We didn't get home until midnight last night. Woo, I'm tired. Poor Goober, she's really tired. Anyway, Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and of course some of our great advertisers. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, without further ado, let's start a shortened week off the right way by having a Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
Are you the man?
Yes, sir. I figured I'd do it this morning.
Well, go with it, my friend.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I
gave Wheels strict orders this morning that if he hears any kind of dead air or a pause, to wake me up. All right, Wheels?
Aye, Captain.
All right, see you later. Weather forecast brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hebron, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. And the best of rental of best tools and equipment around the area. They've got everything. And you're not sure what you need? Stop in and talk to Roger and the crew. They can help you. So get more information. Get the tools you need at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 West of Hebron. We'll have more in a minute, but right now, the weather.
We're expecting a beautiful week here as we are inside the month of September, and the high-pressure system is going to be sticking around for this week. Here's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch. Expecting sunny skies for today and a high of 84. Tonight, clear skies, expecting a low of 51. Winds picking up out of the west, right around 8 miles an hour. For tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 87 with an overnight low of 54. As we get to Thursday, warming up to 88, possible 90 degrees under sunny skies, just depending upon where you're at around the Magic Valley. Thursday night, partly cloudy skies with a low of 55. By Friday, as we get ready for the weekend, mostly sunny skies with a high of 87 and cooling off to 82 under sunny skies for Saturday. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Gina, good job. Thank you. And don't forget, they opened up early this morning at 7 a.m. at the K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 West of Hebron. Right there. You couldn't miss them on the Burley-Paul Highway. Number to call, 678-3122. Wow. Got to really try to wake up this morning. I'm not used to this. I'm an old man. I don't stay out till 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then Deanna and I need to buy a new alarm clock because I think I smashed mine this morning. when it went off at 4 a.m. Anyhow, Burley Livestock Sale Yard, don't forget, big sale on this Thursday, starting at about 10:30 a.m., 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, and Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy at the sale that works for you. Burley Livestock Sale Yard. The number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Sale on Thursday, Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Don't you miss it. And while we have just a moment also, I want to say thank you very, very, very much to Daryl's Cleaners. You know, folks, as much as I've traveled in the last 50 years, that shows how old I am, I've really relied on having my clothes look good wherever I'm going, and Daryl's does a fantastic job. Best job of anybody, anywhere. So stop in and see them today at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Not only for your clothes cleaning, but for those of you that just don't have a lot of time and you don't have the ability to take the time to wash your own clothes, take them in there. And they will wash, dry, fold, and iron all your clothes and have them ready for you at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Morning to everyone, and it's going to be a long day, and I'll need your phone calls and your good words to keep us awake. I'm going to start taking calls after this message. Don't forget the Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch. We're going to have Jerry on the air with us a little bit later on this morning. Jerry, I hope you're feeling much better, old buddy. Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch coming up this sale. Saturday, they've got their big 30th annual production sale, starting at 10 o'clock with the preview. Sale at 11, right up at the ranch at 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley. And this is not only a top-notch quarter horse sale, but you're going to be able to buy horses that look the part, can do the part, and are really going to be a benefit to you and your horse operation. Whether you're a roper, a cutter, whatever, pleasure rider, they've got all the breeding, conformation, and disposition. Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch 30th Annual Production Sale this coming Saturday in Oakley. Don't you miss it. Wow. I want to give credit where credit is due this morning that Dave Zanino, a longtime friend of ours, put on an excellent roping last night at Jerome County Fairgrounds, the Humbach Memorial Roping. And I talked to Dave before I went on the air this morning, and he was absolutely taken aback by the number of entries. 274 teams, I believe. And it was an outstanding roping, well run, and I just want to say thank you on the air to him, his family, and everybody in charge. It was a great memorial roping. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I nearly fell out of my chair when I heard this, and it proves that we need a complete makeover back to morality and right and wrong in this country. Now, a lot of you think, oh, Zeb, you're just being theatrical. No, I'm not. This really is upsetting to me. Nike, the big shoe and sportswear power company, has signed. Now, listen to this. They have signed on as one of their main focal points and spokespeople the disgusting Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick is going to be one of their poster boys, if not the main poster boy, with the theme, Just Do It. This young and dumb hater of the national anthem, police, and what's right in this country is Nike's spokesperson? People this morning are so outraged about this, and I talked to some people back in New York and Washington, D.C. in my sleepy slumber this morning. They are burning shoes, socks, Nike logos. They're getting rid of them. This country is in turmoil, my friends. And that's not theatrical. That's just a bottom line fact. I have never seen this country divided like it is right now, with the absolute insanity and insurrection and lack of respect for our country on the left. And we on the right, what are we doing? What are we doing? Answer it. Call me. What are we doing to fight back and literally, and I think it's going to come to this, poke them in the nose? Now, there's people out there, oh, Zeb, you can't say that. Yes, I can, and I did. We are in a really critical situation right now to where our children, our grandchildren, all of us that believe in a moral and respectful society, we're being pushed out the door. Calls are welcome. And I'm going to explain more about this in just a minute. One of the things I've got to tell you is something that is so despicable in regards to Colin Kaepernick and who is backing him. I'll tell you that in a moment. Don't forget our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Oh, my goodness sakes, I'm so happy. I'm happy I know them because when I need them, they're there. They help me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. And the telephone number to call, 678-0459. No brag, just fact. They have all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, and they have had, with the best of service to you with great people for almost 6 decades. Wow. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't you dare hang up. Don't pass go. Do not spend your $200. I want to remind everybody about Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley, America's Diner. Delicious. I'm telling you, whether you go in there for breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, all the time, or maybe a dessert, all the food is really, really good. Absolutely wonderful menu choices served by people that really care with a smile on their face at Denny's Restaurant. 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. It's true. Denny's Restaurant is America's Diner. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Hey, Zeb, I just I see where you're going with the Kaepernick thing and that communist Brennan, but, you know, the whole thing with disrespect that we're getting from this side on that national anthem thing, I don't know if you've taken a look at what's going on this morning with the Kavanaugh hearings, but it's been an absolute joke and nothing but total disrespect from the Democrat senators who are trying to, stop the proceedings of having, what I think is one of the best positions we can stand for as far as having a Supreme Court justice in there.
There's no question. I just haven't had time to get to everything yet, caller, and believe me, my outrage is going to encompass what's going on back there. The rudeness and the select stupidity of the left and the Democrats and the shambles that they have turned the hearing in already, it's just absolutely deplorable. They don't need to take a gavel and beat down on the gavel and say you're out of order, you're out of order. They need to take that doggone gavel and beat somebody over the head.
Well, and the thing is I had to leave and go to work because it made me so mad. That's bad when you have to go to work because it makes you so mad. But they had people disrupting the thing, and it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And these guys are all complaining about the fact that they don't have documents. But, I mean, this is the same group of people who are, stalemating us on things with Benghazi, things with the emails and things with, those Russian collusion stuff. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Let me tell you this. At 9:06 this morning, caller, I urge you, well, actually, I'm going to tell you that as interested as you are in politics, you should listen because I'm going to have the attorney, Tony Francois, that is overseeing some of the activity going on in that hearing, and he's going to be talking to us, and I'm going to ask him a lot of questions about how can the Democrats be overrun? Because right now, I'd like to see them stampeded right over.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. I will be listening. I'll be in and out of my truck, but I will be listening to your show.
All right, my friend.
You,
have a good day. Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
All right. I listened to this morning, and I'm like the caller. I mean, I sat there, and I just was looking for something to throw. I had already broke the alarm clock, so I didn't have that opportunity. But anyhow, this is insane. This is insane. The Democrats are crying foul, and they're crying in general. They're a bunch of babies that need to have their diapers changed. This hearing for Brett Kavanaugh, it should be passed through. It should be done next Monday. I mean, easy. But I want to get back, I got to get back to the story about Colin Kaepernick. People, as I said, are burning and getting rid of the Nike material. My only hope is that Nike will fall in stock market and also in popularity. But now, get this. Listen to who is supporting Colin Kaepernick. 2 years without an NFL team, okay? Iran's Ahmadinejad. I'm not making this up. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has come out in support of Colin Kaepernick. And here's what he said. The National Football League season will start this week. Unfortunately, once again, Kaepernick is not on an NFL roster, even though he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And then he went on to say that he has called for the elimination of Israel, denied the Holocaust, and called the USA a great Satan, along with engaging in nuclear weapon brinkmanship. But this is the man that's backing Colin Kaepernick to play for the NFL. What? Nike can be oh so proud. You know, I just get to the point every day on this program where we've got to do something. We've got to get involved. And I beg you people out in the audience to maybe talk to your neighbors, your relatives, if you're talking to your relatives, and try to form coalitions of power groups as to how to make your community better and stand up for the benefits and the rights and the respect for our country, for heaven's sakes. And now, leader of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, tweets out his support for Colin Kaepernick? Oh, help me, please. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, somebody last week on Friday, I can't remember where I was at, and they came up and they said, oh, things aren't as bad as you think they are. What? See, now, that to me is an attitude of laziness. That to me is an attitude of not showing and caring enough for this country and the decline of our value system in this country to just slough it off. Basically put your head in the sandbox and wait for the cats to come cover you up. I can't believe this. Caller, I'll be right there. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Hello, Nick Greenwell. Yes, you remembered. I said I was going to call, make an appointment. I am starting over there this month to have some more of their help on the exercises, the hydrotherapy pool, everything available to me like it is to you, to help you get back to being you. Call them at 678-1191. I'll repeat that number, 678-1191. The best, with all the best physical therapists working for you and with you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, Zeb, I'd like to wake up one morning to hear something positive on the radio.
Well, now, wait a minute. That offends me. Now, Keith, you're one of my dearest friends, but that offends me. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm trying to tell the truth. I don't care about the good news and make you feel good, slap you on the back, have a bowl of Wheaties, and just put a big smile on your face. I've got to tell you what's going on as real-world consequences.
I didn't mean it in that respect, Zeb. I really didn't. I meant when I wake up in the morning and I turn on the TV, I'd like to see something that is very positive.
Well, I agree with that.
I look forward to your show on there because I'm going to get something that is positive and something that is going to carry me through the rest of the day.
Well, the thing is, though, Keith...
That, I don't know what I'd do.
Well, and I respect your thoughts on this and everything, and maybe I shouldn't have got so upset all of a sudden, but that's the attitude that I get a lot of people yelling at me for, and I can't do that. I've got to give the truth. I'm not gonna kind of melt over ice cream on the subject and let you think it's all rosy and everything's going down easy street, because it's not. We've got some real problems in this country.
You better believe it. We got a Democratic Party that are nothing more than obstructionists. And this little display they had this morning, I tell you what, I don't know. I'm really beside myself because of the ignorance that these people have, or interruption, and they're not stopping them.
Oh, my gosh.
They should kick them out, and let's have a hearing, because this is being very disrespectful to Judge Kavanaugh. He sits there and he's taking it. I don't know how he does it.
Well, the Democrats they're just absolutely controlling the situation. You said something very key a moment ago, that there's no way to shut them up. There's no way that there seems to be power to throw them out of the hearing forum. Keith, you're 100% on the money there, because I don't think that they need to have these interruptions. When they bring down the gavel and say they're out of order, and Cory Booker keeps on yelling and screaming, and then a woman gets up in the background and it just totally distorts and disrupts the proceedings. You tell me, what would you do, or what should they do?
Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're obstructing this thing. They're going to string this thing out until we have the elections. Hopefully that they're going to get the House back, and then they're going to get somebody else in there to bid their abortions and stuff like that. That's my thoughts on it, is to obstruct.
No, you're 100% correct. But, you know, to those that are saying, oh, well, and I'm not aiming this at you, Keith, so don't be offended. And Wheels, we got a little feedback here. But, Keith, you realize that there are those that want to bury their head in the sand. There are those that want to turn their television off, or their radio off, or throw their newspaper out. Oh, well, it's all bad news. I don't want to have any good news. I want to live in the land of Dorothy and Oz. I want everything to be golden. You know, that's the problem today. We're not getting involved in solving the problems.
That's right. We're just fighting. The Democrats are trying to get us, or get the good people out so they can get in, and the good people are trying to keep them from getting in, and it's just one big circle. Just go around and around. You get nowhere.
You're still my best old buddy. Thank you. You and Nancy, God bless you, man. I love the way you got the conversation started this morning. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to wake up to something positive. Not from you.
All right.
Because I look forward to hearing your lovely voice.
Oh, you're just trying to get a free lunch at Lunch Bunch, and you might succeed.
You sound so sweet on the radio.
Oh, get over it.
Have a nice day.
All right, thank you. I don't want to sound sweet. I'm serious. This has just absolutely got me fried. Keith, thank you so much. God bless you, man. Thanks. Ahmadinejad in Iran backing Colin Kaepernick and Nike. The Senate hearing for Brett Kavanaugh for the Supreme Court in total disarray. Think of the good. Think of the good that could have happened if Nike would have come out with a pro-national anthem, pro-respect for our country, pro-respect for our police, pro-respect for our military attitude in their advertising. Wow. But it's the leftist mess, like a barnyard feedlot with all the fecal material laying on the ground. That's the Democratic Party right now. Disrupt, hate, cause havoc. Look at this mess back at these hearings. And, you know, the Republicans, led by Grassley and the rest of them, they don't have any power. They can't say, okay, we want the sergeant at arms to come and get this guy out of here. This lady goes, throw him out. They're not doing anything like that. They're letting the disruption and total chaos reign. What are your thoughts on this? You know, this is absolute chaos right now. A good man, a very good man, nominated for the Supreme Court, is absolutely being vilified by some of the biggest lowlifes in this country. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental Sales Service and Parts, and 3 locations to serve you. We had a good visit last week with Juan on the radio over at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And, of course, they've got the other location at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with Eli, and the Nampa location. And they've got all the equipment you need. I mean, if you need some big, tough equipment like the Doosan loaders, etc., oh, my goodness, all the Doosan equipment right there available at Barry Equipment and Rental. And then don't forget, for all your equipment rentals and retail equipment sales, they can and they will help you. They are the professionals. Barry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and Nampa, serving you. I'd sure like some more calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And then did you hear what else about this Colin Kaepernick situation? Serena Williams. Yes. The tennis pro. Yes, she's on the Nike team. You know what she said? And I'm paraphrasing. She's very proud, and more proud today, to be part of the Nike team because of the signing of Colin Kaepernick. We've lost our decency. We've lost our common sense. And tie all of this mess in with Mahmoud Ahmadinejad of Iran saying that he backs Colin Kaepernick. You think we haven't got trouble in River City? This is absolutely despicable. There's something else that really bothers me. Maybe you don't agree, but I'd like your attitude. I'm never going to bury my head in the sand on this program. We're going to talk about the issues. We're going to lay it out there. If somebody's offended, I guess that is their right to be offended. I'm not going to change the way I do things because they're offended. That's certainly not going to happen. But even at a funeral, and in this case, Senator John McCain's funeral, there had to be Trump bashing. I sat there, I listened, and I thought, how low can you go? I mean, here is the current administration, the Trump administration, and a lot of good things are happening to and for America. Our economy is absolutely going, yeah, buddy, it's growing, it's going. And I feel better myself personally and safer with this administration. But is he getting any help? Is he getting any support from either the left? No, that's a gimme. And the absolute fractured right. People that say, well, I'm a Republican. Well, no, you're not. You might hang that label on your forehead. But they're tearing this administration apart. The man and his administration have no support, except from a lot of the American public. And when you stand up at a funeral, pardon me, and you're delivering a eulogy, is that the place for a former President Bush and President Obama to go after the presidency in Trump bashing? Is that the place? I say no. Senator John McCain and his record and his history and his life could stand alone as items to eulogize and a person to respect and be admired. But it did not have to turn into an anti-Trump as president bashing. That was severely low. It was despicable. And I've lost my respect for President Bush. I had none for former President Obama. This is absolutely insane. You know, I wrote a blog this last week about Donald Trump. Who really, out there in the audience, and I'm surprised we're not getting more calls, and if you're mad at me for something I've said this morning, call me and tell me. I don't care. If I owe you an apology, I'll give it to you. But who out there in the audience could blame Donald Trump today at noon to take the key to the Oval Office and hand it to one of the security guards and say, I've had it? He's not getting any support. Nobody is helping him. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, I support Donald Trump 100%, and according to the election and the Electoral College, most of America supports him. But this man has taken more abuse, more threats than anybody out there. He had a comfortable lifestyle. He was a billionaire. He could do anything, go anywhere, had his own jet. I mean, he didn't have to wait in lines to travel. And he give all that up to take this abuse. And still, he is succeeding and doing things for this country and putting America back on the stage as a leader in the world.
Let me ask you something. When you turn the key in your office door to go to work today, Tuesday, the first day of the work week, are you there just to do it for free?
No.
Well, he is.
Exactly. This man is donating his salary. His daughter is donating her salary. I mean, they are taking nothing from this country and giving everything. And I can understand people who hate this man. I can't understand it. Look at your checkbook. Look at your IRA. Look at the freedom that we're getting back.
Oh, wait a minute. Stop right there. Add with that word also the respect.
Yeah, the respect we're getting back from the world. I mean, he did not do a apology tour. He did a tour of telling the UN, either you guys step up and hold up to your obligations, or we're out of here.
So what are we going to do? What are we going to do, Doug? You know, I honestly mean this. And again, Wheels, watch the feedback just a little bit, buddy. You and I get on the radio and other people call in, but we've got to start showing coalitions of power around the United States of we've had it and we're not going to take it anymore. Kind of like the old Eddie Child. Remember that bumper sticker? I'm mad as you know what and I'm not going to take it anymore. Well, that's where we're at today. When you have the likes, Doug, and I want you to respond to this, to Iranian leader Ahmadinejad coming out and condemning the NFL and America for not giving Colin Kaepernick a job. My gosh, where are we headed?
Well, Colin Kaepernick has joined their team. That's why he doesn't like America. That's why he did what he did. But he wasn't good enough to do what he did and keep his job. And that's why he does not have a spot on a team. He is not good enough.
Well, how about this one? Try this one on for size. Over the weekend, last Friday, as a matter of fact, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got together with a whole bunch of little elementary school children, probably 6, 7, and 8 years old, and she told them that they should fight Trump and hate Donald Trump. Isn't that a wonderful thing to tell our youngsters in America today?
Well, that's the only ones that she can relate to, because their mental capacity is about the same. She is just a flash in the pan, and I don't think she's going to be elected. And if she is, I have no hope for the people.
No, I think she will be. No. I think she will be. And you're one of my dearest friends, like you and Keith and others, but I correct you and give you my side of the story. I don't think we should write her off. I don't think we should just kind of say, well, she's a flash in the pan. I'll tell you something. This is a growing trend of evil. Whether it's Kaepernick being appointed as a spokesperson by Nike, whether it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez preaching to youngsters that they should hate Donald Trump and fight Trump, whether it's Bush and Obama at a eulogy for McCain using it as a method to bash this president. I'm telling you, we got trouble, Keith. Or, pardon me, Doug. I made the faux pas. I apologize.
Yes, we do. Yes, we have trouble. But once you keep poking a sleeping dog, when it wakes up, it's usually not in a good mood. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, I hope you're right, but it's not going to happen, Doug. Honestly, and you and I have talked about this both privately and then also on the air. It's not going to happen until the American public stands up and says, that's it.
Exactly. And I was going to mention something last week. You know, when the Florida had their primaries and the Republican turnout to vote and the total Democrat turnout to vote, well, the Republican turnout to vote was 500,000 more than the Democrat turnout.
And it better stay that way through November.
I got a customer. I got to run.
Make some money.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, really tell me what you think of the attitude in this country today. Christian bashing, Bible bashing, President Trump and this administration bashing, coming after us as conservatives and believers in a conservative, family-valued society. Whoa, I'm sincerely worried. And I'm going to make this statement and stand behind it. I am sincerely worried that we in America have lost our decency. I have had on the program about 2 or 3 times Dr. Alvin Schmidt, a theology professor back in Illinois. And I asked him point blank blunt on the air the last time he was on, can we turn this thing around? And he paused and he said, I really don't know. And right now, with the attitude in this country, I don't think so. And he said it with a tear in his eye and a wavering in his voice. Caller, I'll take your call and then I'll get a weather forecast in. Quickly, go.
I agree with all that's been said this morning. I thoroughly support President Trump, and I was absolutely appalled when I heard that Colin Kaepernick was going to be with Nike. I could not hardly believe that. And why would someone from Iran come over here and support Colin Kaepernick?
Well, he didn't come over here, but he said it from over there. But to hear you and make those statements, and I think the world of you and your opinion, Lorna, but what are we going to do? I mean, quickly tell me, how are we going to turn this bus around before it goes over the cliff?
Well, the only thing I can hope is that the forces with us are bigger than the forces against us. And I believe there's just as many working for us or more.
Okay, but right there, I'm going to ask you this. Then why aren't we more vocal? Why aren't we more unified? Why aren't we standing up and saying, this is garbage and it's got to stop? Why aren't we doing anything? I don't care if it's the pastor at a church service. I don't care if it's a school teacher. I don't care who it is, community leaders. I don't care who it is. We all could do more to get back to the basic values of America.
That is for sure.
Lorna, I appreciate you, your friendship, and your speaking out. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you and have a good day.
One more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
In your travels on your four-wheelers, did you guys go over in the South Hills to see the hummingbirds?
We haven't this year. We didn't get a chance, but we had our own little infestation of great gatherings. As you know from sitting on my porch, they became really good friends of mine, many of which
yes.
You saw the dive bombing, and where you were...
Over to the South Hills yesterday, there was not one single hummingbird.
They all took up and left. I think they know that colder weather is coming. I've got to get a weather on, Lorna. Right. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. Wonderful lady right there, and I'm proud to call her my friend. Thank you. Don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. I'm running late. Got to get this on. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room, and the number to call is 312-0957. Now, I really want you to know that they're dedicated to serving people with hearing loss of all ages and their families. So please get a hold of them today. They can help you. That number is, I'm choking to death on a sip of water, pardon me. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids at 312-0957. I better get the weather on. I'm choking over here. Go ahead.
We're expecting a beautiful week here as we are inside the month of September, and the high-pressure system is going to be sticking around for this week. Here's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch. Expecting sunny skies for today and a high of 84. Tonight, clear skies, expecting a low of 51. Winds picking up out of the west, right around 8 miles an hour for tomorrow. Sunny skies, high of 87 with an overnight low of 54 as we get to Thursday, warming up to 88, possible 90 degrees under sunny skies, just depending upon where you're at around the Magic Valley. Thursday night, partly cloudy skies with a low of 55 by Friday as we get ready for the weekend. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 87 and cooling off to 82 under sunny skies for Saturday. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very much, Gina. Excellent job. And that's what they say about the great folks over at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And the number to call for an appointment, I urge you to do so, 312-0957. Caller, good morning and thank you.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm upset this morning because I think we're in a lot of trouble. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I definitely do. But you know what? We shouldn't have been surprised. I want you to read 2 Thessalonians chapter 2.
Yes.
Verse 10, it tells us that God will send a delusion for them to believe a lie, and He has. It's talking about the people that forsake their first love, Deb, and it's talking about wickedness. And, you know, Satan really does have power on this, in this world, not of this world, but in this world, and that we're seeing it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's worse than it ever has been, Seb, but the thing that is that we're in an instant society. We don't have to wait for 2 weeks anymore to read the front page and see the headlines on the Times News, because we just flick our little thumb and off you go. There it is, right before our face. We know when there's been earthquakes in Japan. We know when so-and-so died in Thailand. We know when Kaepernick has done whatever he thinks is the best, you know, and we just delight them by paying attention to that kind of thing and by having a fit over it. And yes, it's worth having a fit over, but it still feeds the problem. It still feeds it.
I agree with everything you said. but I will state this, and I'd like you to come back and give me your remark. You said that, well, I don't know if this is the worst time in our history. I'm paraphrasing, but it's the worst time in your and my history, and we've got to do something about it to curb it and put it on the right avenue to correct the way we're going, because if not, it's going to be worse for future generations. This is a very important time. Pardon?
Well, and if we don't stand for something, we fall for anything.
Amen.
So, anyway.
No, God bless you for bringing that up, but I'll tell you something.
Yeah, go read that. Just read the second chapter of 2 Thessalonians.
Believe me, I have, but then also we are told not to just sit back and do nothing until the Lord comes back. We're supposed to get up and try to do what's right.
You are right. That is true.
God bless you.
It's a two-edged sword, isn't it?
Absolutely. And God bless you for your call. I mean that. Thank you. Thank you. Nice lady right there, and she's right. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Deanna and I talked about this a lot. I'm not going to weaken. You know, some of the left in this area, believe me, they're here. They're spineless. And they never want to confront on the air. They don't want to call in. They only do it with emails and then leaving messages on my cell phone. And that tells you a lot about the personality of the left. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Let's just smell the roses for a moment or two. You know, Lorna brought up something that I really appreciate, and she was talking about those hummingbirds in the South Hills.
No, come on, Keith.
Really?
No, I know it's wonderful, but you're kind of jumping off topic, but I will say my buddies have left. I'm saddened this morning because my heroes of the bird feeder are gone.
No, I wanted to tell you about the one person who is responsible for most of that in the South Hills. His name is Virgil Brockman.
Yes.
And he's an older gentleman, and I think he's still living. But he has dedicated his life to feeding those birds and everything in the South Hills. I admire this man to no end.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know you're trying to make things change topic, and I don't want to do that, but I will say that I miss my friends. I had them all named. We had about, I don't know how many, 10, 12, 14 here at one time that were every day out on the back porch, and they would land there on the bird feeder less than 6 inches away from where I'm sitting, and they'd kind of look at me, and then they'd fly by us and everything, and poor Lorna came over to visit one afternoon, and she was sitting right on the glide path for these hummingbirds to make it to the feeder, and the poor lady felt like she was in World War II, I think.
Well, I've only seen one hummingbird all summer long, and it's a tragedy because they're really fun to watch.
Oh, I enjoy them. Keith, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you. That's all right. I've been interrupted before. Thank you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I just want to tell you this one last little note before I go to our final word for this hour. There's a new movie out called First Man, and it's all about our landing on the moon and Neil Armstrong and the flag on the moon. Over the weekend, we were informed through different news articles that the movie is not going to show the actual planting of the flag and the flag on the moon. No, they're not going to show it. It's again a liberal slap in our face to lower the status of our being proud to be Americans. I know that Buzz Aldrin has spoke out. He's absolutely incensed that they did this or didn't do this in the movie. It's despicable. Don't forget our dear friends that are our major sponsor for this program, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, they've got a big fall tire sale going on. On sale, the Eclipse tire, now as low as $91.19. Premium traction, superior ride quality, and for the pickup and SUVs, they've got the Open Country AT2. All-terrain tread, improved tire life. This is a goodie. You better stop in and check it out today. Along with the best in brake service, they know brakes. And the best in front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this, but every day they provide the best in service. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run to the news from CBS, and then I'll be back at 9:06 with attorney Tony Francois talking about the Kavanaugh hearing. We'll be back. Wheels, it's all yours. Good morning, and I mean that. For those of you that are wide awake, I'm not, so keep me awake. Call in. I appreciate it. Zeb at the Ranch, don't forget that we are brought to you by our major sponsor with a great big fall tire sale going on right now. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And they're always helping you get back to being you. Right now, we're going to hear this good word for our friends from Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
I urge you to get on the route service. All you have to do is call them, and every week their truck will show up. Get rid of your garbage. Goodbye. It's gone. Give them a call at 734-6969. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. You call them today. You know, there's somebody else that has been a long time on this program, and we certainly appreciate all their community support, everything they do, and that's, of course, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, the manager, along with his family and staff, serving you and your family always when there's the passing of a loved one with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. You know, it's a tumultuous time. And so many things have to be done, and they can help. They will help. All you need to do is call 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, and Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. I don't want to waste a moment. I want to get right to the phone line, and I want to talk to our lawyer in just a second. I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody, too, about the big Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch sale coming up this Saturday, a 30th annual production sale. It's going to start at 10 o'clock with the preview, sale at 11 up at the ranch. 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley. The best of conformation, disposition, and performance horses. The best horses at Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch production sale this coming Saturday. Don't you miss it. Caller is on the air with us, and an attorney with the Pacific Legal Foundation, and I say a good morning to a guest that I really respect and appreciate, Tony Francois. Tony, good morning to you.
Well, thanks. Good morning to you. How are you doing today?
Tony, I got to tell you, this Brett Kavanaugh hearing has turned into a Three Stooges movie. And I just have been handed some of the information about this has been called a mob rule by Texas Senator John Cornyn, and it seems like it's completely out of control. Are we going to let the Democrats take this thing and just throw it in the trash can?
Well, I was able to observe the first hour plus of the hearings this morning, and what you're referring to was a constant barrage of interruptions to Senator Grassley, the chair of the committee. His efforts to simply announce the beginning of the hearing and introduce Judge Kavanaugh as the nominee to the Supreme Court. He was for approximately an hour constantly interrupted and badgered by members of the minority party on the committee. They made motions to adjourn the hearing and to suspend it. And meanwhile, there was an almost constant drip of members of the audience disrupting the hearing as well, yelling out and having to be removed. So it certainly did start out looking disorderly, I guess would understate it. And yeah, Senator Cornyn described it. The Republican members of the committee began asking, well, what are actually the ground rules here? Are we supposed to call on and be recognized, or should we just be shouting out our questions too? So it was kind of a free-for-all. But I think Senator Grassley got control of it after giving everybody a chance to vent, and then they are actually underway at this point.
But let me ask you this, and you know the protocol and what needs to be or not be done. Tony, where's the power there with Grassley, with the gavel or whatever, and just shouting, you're out of order, etc.? There seems to be and needs to be more power. What about a sergeant of arms just politely going over and grabbing somebody by the necktie and dragging them out of the room? This is ridiculous.
Well, I do believe so. The people in the gallery who were disrupting the proceedings, I think they are, in fact, you can see on the live feed now, a fine fellow citizen of ours being escorted out by the Capitol Police, and they I think have been doing that all morning. So in terms of members of the public, disrupting the meetings, they are being escorted out by the Capitol Police. Now, as to other members of the committee, though, Senator Grassley actually, remarked a couple of times that, people on his side may be asking why he is, entertaining and tolerating this much disruption by members of the committee, and his statement on that was simply, look, it's going to take as much time to explain to them why they're out of order as it is just to listen to them vent a little bit. The key argument this morning was that the committee is not in what is called executive session, which is more closely governed by procedural rules. And so the Democrats made a series of motions that, if the committee was in executive session, would have required a vote. And I think this is all really just theater to encourage the Democrat supporters to perceive this as unfair or as rigged or cooked in some way. And I think really that just indicates that having really deprived themselves of the political leverage to block a Supreme Court nomination if they're in the minority, the Democrats have little left to influence the outcome except disruption. And that seems to be what's going on.
All right. Now, I want you...
The hearing seems to be underway.
Okay. Let me ask you this. And I'm going to show some naivete on this issue, but you are the expert. Why can't the Republicans just rear back and use the nuclear option? And I'm sick of all this mollycoddling. I'm sick of all this pandering. I'm sick of all this arguing. I'm sick of all this disrespect. Why can't they, the party that's in power of the House, the Senate, and, quite frankly, push this thing through so the American public gets something done?
Well, the procedure now, thanks largely to former Senator Harry Reid making it this way for the Democrats. The procedure now is that Judge Kavanaugh can be confirmed to the Supreme Court on an up or down vote without the requirement of a supermajority or the availability of a filibuster. So the hearing is a procedural step toward that. It's a pretty standard thing that they've always done with judges is there are about 21 senators on the Judiciary Committee. they all get their time to grandstand and ask questions and, look clever. But with a majority on the committee, the Republicans will certainly forward his nomination to the floor, and with a majority on the floor, they will certainly confirm him to the Supreme Court. At this point, I think most of what you see going on in these hearings is an effort by Democrats and others on the left just to gin up, grudges and resentment about something that they can't stop politically.
What are some of in your opinion, Tony, the biggest issues that the Democrats are either conjuring up or they really have some valid excuse? What are some of the issues that they are against Kavanaugh on, that they actually fear this man? What are the big points?
Well, that's a great question, Zeb, and I think that really gets to the heart of the matter. What the way Judge Kavanaugh approaches work as a federal judge is basically to read statutes that the Congress passes, take them at face value. Certainly, if they violate the Constitution, he's going to prefer the Constitution over congressional statutes. But if there isn't a constitutional problem with them, he's simply going to enforce the law that Congress writes. And what that means, it sounds pretty basic, right? But what that means is that he's not going to let unaccountable bureaucratic executive agencies rewrite the law to mean what they want it to mean. He's not going to let the EPA or the Labor Department or you name it rewrite what Congress wrote to suit some political or policy preference that those bureaucrats have. And so what the left sees in that is the two things. One, the left has a pretty high degree of influence over bureaucratic agencies. And so where Congress might pass a law that compromises on certain important points or is a reasonable way of regulating something, the left will then go pressure the agency to write regulations that move it in a different direction or expand it or make it harder or easier, depending on, you can think of it like a dial. Congress may pass a law that says, to protect your workers, you've got to do the following things, and they kind of set that protection level at a 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the left will go and they'll put pressure on the agency, and there's a certain sympathy that the agency has to think, well, this should be at an 8 or a 9 or a 10, and they'll turn the intensity of it up. And a judge faithfully doing the job of a judge is going to say, well, no, Congress set this at 5, and we're going to apply it at 5. The kind of judges that the Democrats want are going to say, well, bureaucratic agency, we're going to let you move this up to 9 or 10 because we think you've got a purer sense of what's right. At the heart of this is a deep distrust of voters, and I think that's the key thing. Congress is accountable to voters, and so the laws that Congress passes tend to be more moderate. They tend to reflect the fact that the voters only really support so much. And when Congress does crazy things like passes Obamacare, the voters throw them out. So what the left wants are judges that will not hold Congress accountable for what they do. They want judges that will let bureaucracies do what they want to do. And that's really the difference there. Judge Kavanaugh reflects that school of thought that the law is what Congress says it is and should be applied that way. And they see a lot of danger to the administrative state with judges that view it that way.
Tony, I don't think in my old life, and I'm an old man, but I don't think I've ever seen this kind of division, this kind of hatred, this kind of animosity, this kind of who cares about America, we want our way, we're spoiled brats that need our diapers changed, I don't think that we're going to see a healing in this country. And if, and I hope he is, and I believe he will be, Kavanaugh is approved, I think the division's going to become wider, the chasm's going to become deeper, and this country is in bad trouble if we don't stop this foolishness and get the left and the right to sit down and have some common ground.
I think that's a fair observation, Zeb. I think one of the things you see with the disruption of this hearing this morning is that for a couple of generations, the left has been very comfortable sort of backing itself up with what the courts generally have done. And so they've claimed the mantle of, this is the law, this is the way things have to work. There's, I think, a rebirth of the judiciary in the United States that's underway that is more modest, more focused on, their proper role. And I think the left has a choice to make. Do they still believe that things are the law because the Supreme Court says they're the law? Or has that always really been just sort of a smokescreen for will to power? And if it's the latter, I agree. I think there is going to be, continue to be division and difficulty. I think the good news, though, is that we're seeing, a renaissance, a rebirth among the judiciary of the clear recognition of their proper role, clearly holding Congress accountable for the laws they pass. And I think most people will see that this is going to be good for America, not the end of the world as we know it, and that should ameliorate a lot of the division when people stop and realize, the world didn't end. We just know who's responsible for the things we don't like. It's Congress, not nameless, faithless bureaucrats that the judges allow to do whatever they want.
Tony, I don't think, and this is my own personal opinion, I'll jump up on my soapbox and you can correct me, but I don't think it's Congress. I don't think it's the laws. I don't think it's Kavanaugh. I think it's the extreme hatred of the left losing the last election and their hatred for Donald Trump. That's the main key right there. They will do anything to disrupt and distort America because they hate Trump.
Well, I think that's part of it. I would not dispute that with many of them is a big part of it. You definitely see this school of thought that anything that emanates from the Trump White House just has to be bad. And I think that's led a lot on the left to say and do some fairly foolish things. But there is, in a sense, I think there's kind of a larger picture there. One of the reasons that Trump is feared and reviled by some on the left is precisely because he's willing to do things that go against the grain of sort of how the bureaucracy and the machine works in Washington. Now, he's had mixed results with that, but the basic sin that he commits, if you will, that so many in Washington really just recoil at is, the notion that we're not going to just let nameless, faceless bureaucrats run the country anymore. You elect me as the president, I'm going to use my authority as the president to do what I can do, and then we're going to, and he's appointing judges that will be on the courts for a generation after his presidency is over, who will perpetuate that view, which is the people who are elected by the voters make the laws and the rules. Bureaucracies can do, regulations to implement all that stuff, but they don't get to change the rules in a way that evades accountability. And I think it's that lack of accountability, that ability to kind of live the high life in Washington and within the federal government without being accountable for anything that happens, that's got a lot of people on the run.
Let me ask you this. if this hearing is elongated into a great big kind of a Mexican standoff with the yelling and the shouting and the disruptions, the American public deserve better than what we saw earlier this morning. However, we could see the same thing replay itself on an even lower scale in the not-too-distant future, because I think there's going to be some other nominations that are going to be needed for some retiring judges. What are your thoughts about this mess that seems like it's going to be an ongoing soap opera?
Well, yeah, I share your concern, because if the left through the Democratic Party has no political means to frustrate the nomination of good judges to the courts, and not just the Supreme Court. There have been a large number of very good appointments to the federal appellate courts as well. Well, so you look at the days when Republicans lacked the political means to prevent these the nominations of judges during the Clinton and the Obama administrations, and I mean they had some political tools, but really they didn't have the leverage to stop much of anything. And you didn't see right-wing activists disrupting meetings. You didn't see this sort of at all costs, by any means necessary, prevent the inevitable from happening. If this becomes the way that Democrat politicians have to respond to their base, that's going to be a serious problem, because you'll see it expand. And people need only go back to the episodes in Wisconsin a few years ago when Scott Walker was elected governor of Wisconsin, and the Wisconsin state legislature adopted changes to the rules and how unions collect their dues, and prevented them from simply dunning union dues from people's paychecks. They had to have their members actually say, yes, I want you to take dues out of my check. The left engaged in an enormous amount of, I guess I would stop just short of saying physical violence, but, activists occupied the Wisconsin State House in an effort to use physical means to prevent the law from being changed when they lack the political means to do so. Well, that's a threshold that you cross in a civilized republic. When you say we're not going to live with the political outcomes of elections, we're going to protect what's ours by physical means if necessary. And the danger with that is that those physical means, if people get frustrated and that's the way they're accustomed to doing things, can lead to violence. So I would agree with you that it is very important for partisans on both sides of some of these issues to take a deep breath and really ask themselves, are we really talking about the end of the world as we know it? And I think the answer's got to be no, and that people will see, this is not the end of the era. This is just an improvement in the way the federal judiciary works.
But, one final thought, and I've only got a minute left, Tony, but with the rule of law being basically stomped on and trodden on by the left, when you look at Antifa and go right on down the line, Black Lives Matter, etc., does the left have any respect left for this country and the rule of law without going to a violent confrontation to get their way like a spoiled child?
I think a lot of people do. I think that Antifa, remains a fringe movement, and that is not the mainstream of the Democratic Party or the left. But I think it's going to be incumbent, just as it is on the right, for unsavory and radical members people who identify themselves with the right. It's going to be incumbent on Democratic politicians to clearly and publicly disown organizations and movements like Antifa, and take responsibility to call on everybody on their side of these debates to remind them that these are policy debates, and this is not a society, a civilization, a nation that settles its political fights, behind black masks and, waving weapons.
Amen. Tony, I really appreciate your taking the time to come on the air here this morning. Quickly tell us, if people want to follow these stories and more with the Pacific Legal Foundation, how can they do so?
Absolutely. You can find us on the internet at pacificlegal.org. You can learn there about our cases. You can donate to our efforts and follow the fight for liberty that we're engaged in every day.
Tony Francois, the best. Thank you so much for being on the program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You betcha. This Kavanaugh hearing is going to be very, very interesting to watch, because the personality, the real personality of the left and the Democrats, is showing its ugly face. Right now, I've got to get some commercials in here, and your calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to remind everybody about Anthony and Save-On Shells at 1027 Overland and Burley. Take it from me. I purchased a brand new ARE camper shell from Anthony, and the service is what I was the most admiring of. This man just absolutely goes out of his way to make sure things are done just right for you. Please get a hold of them today. Save on Shells at 1027 Overland and Burley. The number to call, 312-1525, 312-1525. And as far as a recommendation, they've got my A1 recommendation. They are the best. Save on Shells in Burley. Also, real quick, I want to remind you and thank everybody over at Ark Animal Hospital. You know, these folks really care. They really care about your pets and your livestock. It's a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They take care and love them all. They want them to stay healthy. Absolutely. Whether it's a itty-bitty kitty cat or a great big herd of dairy cattle. Of course, Dr. Bill, Dr. Jordan, and the whole crew, they really care. So please remember the name Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. And the telephone number to call, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. I would love you to give me a call right now, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And while I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, I want to remind you, too, about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. Hello, Jeff. Hello, the whole crew, LeGrand, everybody over there. 459 Overland in Burley. You know, I said it before last week, and I'll say it again. We're going to have a nice week. Mild week, temperatures just right, really good. And then all of a sudden, we're going to be caught unaware, and we're going to be spending a lot more time inside. Yeah, you know the weather's going to change. Well, maybe you need new carpeting. Well, maybe you need a new living room set. Well, maybe you need to re-spruce the bedroom with a new mattress, new bedroom set. Well, they've got it all for you. You're going to be spending a lot more time inside, so make sure you're comfy and it looks good. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. 459 Overland and Burley. You stop in and see those really good people at Lee's Furniture today. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. You know, folks, one of the New Mexico teenagers that was in that New Mexico compound, and they, the 5 Muslim terrorists, that's what I'm going to call them, they were teaching these kids how to kill. They were teaching these kids jihad. One of the teenagers has spoken out and has admitted and has come forward with information that, yes, they were being trained for jihad. They were being trained on how to kill other students at schools. They were being trained maybe to go in and kill people in a hospital. They were being trained like they were in an army. And that's one of the most disrupting things that I've read about this story in the last 24 hours. That one of the leaders of this group of filthy, absolute vermin-like people that were trying to teach these kids how to kill was basically trying to start the base of an army. This is so scary in our country, the United States of America. But there again, we've said many, many times on this show, and dating back 2-3 years ago when I had Martin Moyer with his book on the air that was called Twilight in America, where he featured in this book, and these pictures and everything in the book depicted some of the terror training camps in New York, Oregon, Texas, all across the United States. And we do nothing. We do nothing. And now it's coming to fruition that, yes, gee, we have a problem. Houston and everywhere. The terror isn't just overseas. Terror just isn't over there. It's being trained here. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call, please give me a jingle. I didn't get much sleep last night, so you're going to have to keep old Zeb awake. Let's ride 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world. I got to tell you, Deanne and I had time over the weekend to take a little bitty trip on our four-wheelers, and boy, did we enjoy it. Oh, the beauty of southern Idaho in the fall. Wow. I hope you do the same. Please stop over to Let's Ride. Check out all the ATVs. Check out everything. And they're having a big blowout on the watercrafts, too. I want to urge you to go over there and check that out. And they also have the new Maverick Sport side-by-side. Oh, that is something to see. You better own one. So get over there and check out all the great buys at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. Great service department to keep you running. Fantastic accessory department, all at Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. All right, your turn, callers. Come on, give me a jingle. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Are you as concerned as I am about these training terror sites around the United States and the lack of knowledge? And quite frankly, you talk about an ostrich with its head in the sand. It seems like a conglomerate number of senators and congressmen that don't know or don't want to know. And for this teen to speak out, and I fear for him, I really do, that they were being trained to kill in New Mexico. And we sit back and kind of go, ho-hum. Oh, well, they caught him. Big deal. It's not that way. There's more, believe me. There's more than just that one site in New Mexico. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And, you know, it's almost comparable to what Nancy Pelosi said over the last couple of days. Holy smokes, this woman is so capable and adequate of sticking both feet in her mouth. Amazing. She is absolutely committed to MS-13. And when I say committed to it, she doesn't want to say a bad thing about him. She keeps yelling and screaming at anybody that contradicts the thought that these punks are animals. They've been called animals. They kill. They rape. And they control. And she was against, why? Oh, we can't call them savages. Oh, we can't call them animals. Why? That's terrible. Why is the left committed with people like Nancy Pelosi to basically putting white out over a very dark problem. I don't understand. Call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. The very best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more right there with the professionals that are dedicated and very responsive to your needs. All you have to do is call, make an appointment, and they will help you. The number, 436-4424. And Cameron and Siemens Insurance, located on Highway 24 in Rupert. They are the professionals, and they're waiting for your call. All right, your turn, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A quick note on a couple of items. I know we're going to have George on the air. I'm trying to remember when George is going to be on the air. I think it's on Thursday this week at 10:30. The third annual Patriotic Car Show, standing for the red, white, and blue. And boy, that means a lot right there. Standing for the red, white, and blue on Fremont Street in Rupert will take place on this coming Saturday, September 8th. And they're going to have the very best of bikes and boats and cars and entertainment and vendors and a lot of food. This is going to be quite a deal from 10 until 4 p.m. And for more of the information on this event, please call my old buddy, emphasis on the word old, George Mass at 650 0104. That number again, 650. You got to put that silly 208 prefix in front of it. 650-0104, okay? You get a hold of them today. All right, your turn. Calls welcome. And by the way, Wheels, if you're over there by the microphone, I did try to call you over the weekend on your cell phone to go fishing, and you, young man, did not answer your phone.
I know. I apologize. I had a busy weekend, and of course, things pop up unexpectedly. So, when things like that happen, it's
really, you were so busy that you couldn't possibly go fishing with this old man?
It honestly felt like it, and I felt really bad about it, and I was going to try to call this weekend, but like I said, I wasn't able to. And so
well,
I'm hoping we can figure something out this week.
We'll make a redo, okay?
That sounds great before fall comes.
I promise we will not. I give you my word on this. You will never have a phone call for you and I to go ice fishing.
Understood.
But wouldn't that be a wreck? You take the two of us out there on the ice, well, that would be a Laurel and Hardy comedy show.
we would definitely be two sitting ducks.
Two dead ducks is more like it, my friend. All right, Wheels, thank you much. I appreciate it. Oh, we better get a weather forecast on here. I got to take a look at what's going on. We got all kinds of things. We're going to have Vic from Stoats Equipment on with us in just a few minutes. Right now, I'd like to remind everybody, Wheels and I out on the ice fishing. Now, there is a comedy hour right there. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. The very, very best of tax return preparation, tax planning, and financial statement preparation, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, all of this and so much more. They really, really care. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. And they've got two offices in Burley and Rupert. And I urge you, I was talking to Leiden, like I said a couple of weeks ago, and he wants you to know the tax rates have changed. There are new deductions, and quite frankly, they've meddled with some of your old deductions. So you better find out what's going on. Give them a call, stop in. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We're expecting a beautiful week here as we are inside the month of September, and the high-pressure system is going to be sticking around for this week. Here's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch. Expecting sunny skies for today and a high of 84. Tonight, clear skies, expecting a low of 51. Winds picking up out of the west, right around 8 miles an hour for tomorrow. Sunny skies, high of 87 with an overnight low of 54. As we get to Thursday, warming up to 88, possible 90 degrees under sunny skies, just depending upon where you're at around the Magic Valley. Thursday night, partly cloudy skies with a low of 55 by Friday as we get ready for the weekend. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 87 and cooling off to 82 under sunny skies for Saturday. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Yo, is it going to be nice this week? Man, picture book early fall weather. I love it. Love it. And brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. You know, these people really want to help you and serve you, your family, and your business. All you have to do is just give them a call or stop in. The 2 locations in Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, serving you. A quick note that I got to get this right here, the Minidoka County Senior Center is going to have I love German sausage and sauerkraut. Oh, my grandma used to make that every Thursday evening. It's wonderful. German sausage and sauerkraut dinner on September 15th at 6 p.m. Tickets are $10 each, and it's going to be at the Minidoka County Senior Center. And they will also have sausage for sale as long as it lasts. Oh, boy. Minidoka County Senior Center. For more information, you give them a call. Really good people. It is 9:46 right here in the Magic Valley, and I get a chance right now to visit with a gentleman that I have the highest respect for, Vic Carataccia, the manager of Stotz Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer. And I'm telling you, folks, they're at 119 Overland in Burley, and they can make your life easier. Good morning, Vic. How are you?
I'm good, Zeb. How's it going?
Well, good. We got a little cutout in your cell phone there, and we're going to ask you to hold it real still. Vic, over at Stotz, is he still there?
No, he cut out again. Let me go ahead and try to call him back.
Yeah, please do. Sometimes old cell phones, they just kind of create havoc with it, and it cut out. And we'll try to get him back on the air quickly. Thank you very much. And we're going to talk about new innovations in machinery, and we're going to be talking about some of us that are getting a little gray in the mustache, the new innovations. How do we learn? How do we adapt? And also some of the top farmers in this area. And Vic over at Stotz, of course, they've been really good with the Ag Minutes program right here during this time slot. Wheels, do we have him back on the air?
Oh, give me 1 second.
All right, thank you. Time's up. 1 second. And hopefully we can get him back. And waiting patiently. And he says, call him on his cell phone, I guess. Wheels, are you getting this message?
I am, sir.
Do you have him on the air?
I do. I have him on the phone line.
Very good. Vic, all of a sudden the cell phone went boop, and it ended. Tell us a little bit about some of I can't believe the innovations in farm machinery. Now, I traded in, I want the public to know this, I traded in a 1949 Ferguson tractor that you got on it. You threw a toggle switch up, you pushed the gear shift to the right, it started, I drove off. Holy cow, have things changed.
Yeah, they have. But I tell you what, it's kind of like me and Zeb. You know, we may be old, but we still work. And but it's a great tractor, and but innovation has come a long way. And but I was looking at some of the statistics this morning, and did you know we average about 100 horsepower gain every 10 years in the agricultural tractor equipment.
Wow. 100.
So back in the 50s, we were somewhere between 20 and 50 horsepower. Say, an old standby or a go-to tractor was the John 4020, and back then that was in the 50s and 60s. So you're looking at somewhere around 20 to 60 horsepower, depending on what model you got.
but amazing where we started and where we've gone. And now we're talking equipment that has 620 power to the ground, and if you're looking at a John Deere forage harvester, we now have the 9900 that puts out 960 horsepower. So we do things so much faster, so much quicker, so much innovation and technology. Hopefully it's easy. We make our customers' lives easy, but innovation and technology is just growing so fast.
You know, I wish the technology was the same with cell phones and phones. We're still having a little cutout on the line, Vic. I apologize, but it's evidently the cell phone, and we're VoIPing out a little bit. But I want to have you expand, if you could, please, about the old frame of mind like mine. I mean, got on the tractor and just turned it on and ran it. But now things are so much easier with the computer systems and everything. How do you take some of the old-timers like me and transition them into the ease of the future?
Well, it's just like our relationships with our customers. We got to earn your trust, and change is hard. I mean, you got something that works, even though it may not be the most efficient or maybe the best for your application. It works. You work with it. You do the best with it. But it's kind of like going from a handsaw to an electric saw, or even a battery-operated saw, where it's just so much easier. So I think the biggest thing is getting somebody like yourself to set in that new tractor, showing them the ease of use, and get the efficiency that it offers, fuel efficiency compared to the Massey or the old John Deere 420s. And it's just amazing.
You know, the thing is, you work with a lot of people, and, of course, you've taken over this dealership for quite some time now, and I know you've got a lot of friends and a lot of new business, and you've got a lot of people that are coming over to the green line of John Deere. What about some of these farmers that you'd like to give a little praise to for being great customers of Stoats Equipment Company?
Well, we have so many, and the biggest thing is just massive amount of farming here in Idaho compared to where I came from in Arizona. And the diversity here, the spuds and beets, grain and corn, and you name it, they got it. Beans, and it's a shorter, smaller window. I would like to say these farmers up here are very, very creative. They're very, very innovative, and they're very, very intelligent when it comes to knowing what they need and what they need to do. They have perfected it. Where they need our help, because we're not farmers, but we give them the right tool for the right job, and that's our job, is to make their life easier. And you get the farmers like the Crannies and the Mosses. You're talking all the smaller guys that are out there too that benefit by the John Deere product.
You know, the thing is, we're really involved in harvest right now. Are there any specialized pieces of equipment that you'd like to highlight, whether it's for the beets, the spuds, the grain harvest, anything right now that needs to really be highlighted at Stoats Equipment?
Well, our belief is that we're market share is huge with John Deere, so we try to sell as many new tractors and equipment to our customers, but then that gives us the trends, which we like. So we have an extensive amount of, actually just a little over 12 million used equipment right now at our store right here in Burley. And our whole thing is, if we're going to discount that, or we're going to give it to sell it to somebody, we want to sell it locally. I want that in John Deere back into somebody local, even a smaller farmer. I don't care if you're a weekend warrior or you're 500 acre or 1,000 acre, you're all important to us. And we can help you, because we'd rather have that tractor stay here so that we can sell you parts and service, and when you're ready again in 3 to 4 years, we'll have another newer tractor with more horsepower. And by then, you never know, it might be just a robotic tractor. All you have to do is sit back in your lounge chair, drink a lemonade, and watch it work.
I'll tell you what, I'm so happy with the tractor I bought, one of the compact tractors. It's just perfect for my operation and what I want to do, and I thank and salute Stoats Equipment Company. Vic, any final thoughts this morning while I have you on the air?
Well, I just want to thank our team, because I think like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. With the same for the dealership, it takes all of the people here at the store. All I did was come up with the Stoats culture, was allowing our employees to take care of our customers service guys, Ian Burt, he just modified your tractor with the step and the handles, and it's should be being delivered back to your house here shortly. But, it's just all using all these talents and letting them do what they want to do, and that's taking care of our customers.
God bless you, man. I appreciate it. We're talking to the store manager of Stoats Equipment Company, and I'll tell you what, they do a wonderful job. It's true. They make your life easier. Your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland and Burley, my friend Vic. God bless you, man. We'll talk to you later.
See you, Zeb. Thanks.
Take care. Really good folks over at Stoats Equipment Company, and I'm a very satisfied customer. I am. I'm glad I have my new John Deere. Let's see, what else about... Oh, I get a chance. I apologize. Wheels, get on the line with me for a minute. Was that the cell phone kind of VoIPing out a little bit on us? Is that what the problem was?
The 678 number, yes, sir.
I couldn't believe that that was happening, but we apologize, but it was out of our control, correct?
Yes, sir, it was. There was a couple times, actually, before we had got him on the air that it did that, but I'm glad that it,
okay,
for the most part, stuck through.
All right, well, we'll make sure that we get that corrected. Thank you so much. I want to remind you about Dino Septic Service. These people do a job every day that you and I don't want to do. No. I don't want to go out and pump a septic tank. I don't want to go out and sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, or septic and drain fields installed, or liquid waste removal. No, but they do it with a smile on their face. Dino Septic Service, fast, fair, friendly service. Telephone number to call, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Holy cow, they've expanded their business. They're getting bigger all the time and serving more people. You give them a call. Dino Septic Service, absolutely the best, with that big truck that says, smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service. Really, really good people. 10:30 this morning, we are going to be talking to Jerry Zollinger at Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch with their great big sale coming up on this next Saturday, the 8th. And Jerry's been a little under the weather. We're going to find out how he's doing, and he's going to tell us all about that big sale at 10:30 this morning. But before that, standing in my kitchen, mooching more of our bottled water, is Dr. History. And he's going to be coming in here in just a few minutes and giving us more about the real truth about Butch Cassidy. So that's coming up right after the news from CBS. Don't go away. Have a good day. Oh my, as the music plays and it fades off into the horizon, we say good morning. This is Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Holy cow, are we going to be informed this morning? We are going to have more of the continuing saga of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the real true story, with Dr. History. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. This has been a fun deal here.
Is this 2 or 3?
This is number 3.
Number 3. Have we got number 4 too?
Actually, I'm going to surprise you. Last week, I was at the gas station getting gas, and a friend of mine...
You were getting gassed.
I was getting gassed. A friend of mine named Brent Peterson. I mentioned that I was doing Butch Cassidy, and he said, we've got a story about the Sundance Kid. I says, really? He says, yeah, we have a family story about Sundance.
So wait a minute. Now, Brent Peterson is related to...
no. It's I'll have to get into it.
Oh.
But so next week I'm going to do the Sundance Kid, and from this family's research and study, because this book actually doesn't really tell us much about Sundance.
You know, I noticed that when I asked you a question last week, you said it basically highlighted the life of Butch Cassidy.
Right.
Well, his real name was Parker.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Robert Leroy. So anyway, so next week I've got I just stumbled onto this about the Sundance.
Stumbled at a gas
station.
Oh my
so
goodness!
Anyway, I think you're going to like it. So,
okay.
All right. So we've gone through his early days. We've gone through his part number 2. We talked about his outlaw days. Now we're in South America. And so we're going to finish up a couple of robberies here. In 1908, Butch and Sundance were reported to be in Bolivia, along with several other North American outlaws. November 1908, 2 well-armed bandits robbed the Aramo and Frankie Mining Company. Now, discrepancy exists in the different descriptions of the 2 bandits and the details of the robbery. One account identified the outlaws as Americans. Another stated one was American, another one was Chilean. 2 days later, 2 men thought to be the Aramo bandits were killed in a gunfight in San Vicente, Bolivia.
Oh, no, wait, whoa, you're going too fast.
Okay.
Now, the 2 that were killed in the San Vicente shooting, are you intimating that that's where Hollywood perhaps came up with the ending for Butch and Sundance?
The true identity of these 2 outlaws has been argued and disputed for years. Some claim they were, in fact, Butch and Sundance, but the earliest accounts did not identify the dead outlaws. They just buried him, okay? So the 2 bandits were buried with no names. Years later, the outlaws in the graves became suspected of being Butch and Sundance.
Did they ever do a DNA?
No, not that we know of. So, and this book has been well documented. Okay.
Wow.
Now here we go. Butch is now 59 years old. The year is 1925.
Holy smokes!
Okay. In 1925, Maximilian, Butch's dad, and his 3 sons lived in a home, but they continued to work on the old Parker Ranch down there in Utah. One day in the early fall, Mark, who was a brother, was at the ranch fixing fence when a new black Ford touring car pulled up. A man got out. As the man got closer, quote, his face broke into a characteristic Parker grin.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Mark realized this could be only one person, Bob Parker. Bob, Butch, Cassidy.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back between Bob and Butch a little bit here.
Don't confuse me.
I'm going to
old.
try not to.
Okay.
But so after a little visit, they drove into Circleville to the Parker home. Maximilian, the dad, was now 81 years old. He was sitting on the steps by the kitchen door. This fancy car pulled up. Mark and this other guy got out. Well, Butch's face for the one time was actually, he was kind of solemn. He didn't know how he was going to be accepted. Well,
reaccepted by his dad.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, his dad knew him. No one could ever really describe the meeting after all these years. I mean, 41 years he's not seen his son, the outlaw. Well, Butch emphasized that he and Sundance really did intend to go straight when they went to South America. But he said, quote, when a man gets down, they won't let him up. He never quits paying the price. So the big question was what had happened in Bolivia. Butch said that he and Sundance had planned to meet at a certain time and a place to go back to the States. He said the authorities were after him. He drifted up into Mexico. Now, this is Sundance. Drifted up into Mexico by himself, and he said that he had run into Sundance and Etta in Mexico City later.
Oh, they stayed together.
Yeah, but that was the last he saw of Sundance. Okay. Now, when asked about San Vicente, the bank robbery, he said he wasn't there and he didn't know what happened. He didn't know who the 2 outlaws that got killed, but they thought, that was probably a good way to get out. They thought that it was Butch, but it wasn't.
So basically, Sundance and Butch thought that after the massacre, which it was at San Vicente, it was a good time to get out of Dodge City and go back home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Butch stayed with his dad for a couple of days, and his dad tried to get him to stay in Circleville, but he refused. He asked that his visit be kept a secret. Now, Butch's youngest sister, Lulu, said that Maximilian, the dad, said to the family, quote, this is our secret. You are never to mention it to anyone. If you want a secret kept, you never tell it. And we never did. Even other members of our own family didn't know for many years. Now, Lulu also said, quote, occasionally Dad had a letter from him, but his letters were always carefully destroyed to protect Butch. We worried about what trouble it might cause him if they fell into the wrong hands. One day, Dad received a letter from one of Bob's friends reporting that Bob had died of pneumonia. The letter assured Dad that his son was laid away very nicely. It was simply signed Jeff. Now,
Who's Jeff?
We don't know. Just a friend somehow. So Lulu also, she says that Robert Leroy Parker, Butch, died in the Northwest in the fall of 1937. Now, Lulu refused to name his burial location and said, quote, where he is buried and under what name is still our secret. She said her father, Maximilian, said all his life he was chased. Now he has a chance to rest in peace, and that's the way it must be. And Lulu further said, if I were to reveal his burial place, someone would be sure to disturb it under some pretext, and my brother's entitled to rest in peace. Okay? Now, Lulu's account of Butch's return to his family is just one of many accounts. So I'm going to go through some names of people that identified Butch.
I have some questions.
Okay.
I have to ask this.
Okay.
When he was supposedly back here in Circleville, seeing his family, was he at that time a wanted man still, and were the authorities after him here in this country?
You know, it doesn't say that, but the fact that he left the country as an outlaw and came back, he was still an outlaw.
But he didn't change his appearance.
No, but he came back so quietly, and everybody was sworn to secrecy. Even the family members.
How do you go driving around in a brand new Ford touring car at that time and you're sworn to secrecy? Come on.
Well, maybe it wasn't that old or new. Okay, so here's some people I'm going to go through. There was Josie Bassett. Okay, Josie Bassett had known Butch well from his early days, and she said that Butch visited her on 2 different occasions after 1908. The first time was in 1929 in Rock Springs, and Butch also visited Josie in 1932 in Baggs, Wyoming. So he kept on the move. Okay, another guy, Bert Charter. Butch's old friend Bert, who had helped out with horses on a number of the robberies, retired to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and Butch had visited the Charter Ranch in Jackson Hole in 1925. Another guy, John Taylor, a car dealer. He said, quote, one day in 1922, Butch Cassidy drove into the shop in a Model T to get some work done. He says, he didn't tell me who he was, but I recognized him.
Where was this?
Don't know.
Okay.
Oh, Rock Springs. That was in Rock Springs. So he stayed, in the Wyoming,
he was in the
Utah
general area that he committed all the crime.
Exactly. Next guy, Tom Welsh. He was asked if Butch Cassidy had died in South America, and he said, well, he says, if he did, then I met and shook hands with a dead man in Lander, Wyoming in 1930. And then he was asked in another interview if Butch was dead, and he said, well, I had a couple of drinks of whiskey with the mighty lively ghost. That was his response.
But basically, you're talking about a very small area now that you've confined it to Rock Springs and Baggs and what other towns?
Well, there's some more here. Let me keep going here. Sheridan. There's a guy named Fred Hillman. He was the boy on a ranch outside of Sheridan, Wyoming, where Butch had worked. Now, Butch was working on that ranch, and he was on the receiving end of a rattlesnake that Butch had thrown up onto the haystacker as kind of a practical joke. And according to Fred Hillman, Butch returned sometime around 1910, and he asked Fred, he says, has anybody thrown a rattlesnake at you lately? This could only be Butch. Okay, and he recognized him. Here's another one. Ada Piper knew Butch Cassidy very well. Ada was convinced Butch had returned from South America in 1963. In a letter, she stated that...
Whoa, 1963?
Yeah, now we're getting, In 1963, in a letter, she stated that the Sundance Kid had been killed in South America, but Butch Cassidy was not killed in South America. He was here in 1930. I visited with him, and he told several of us he escaped. Now, I'm going to get back to the Sundance Kid again, but not right now. Another guy, Otto Schnauber.
Go ahead. You're rolling it right off your tongue, aren't you?
Okay, this guy was a Rock Springs butcher in the 1930s. He says a stranger came to visit. The stranger was an older man who seemed to be a good friend of Otto. And the stranger was Butch Cassidy. Okay, so we're getting more and more evidence. Eleanor Parker. Okay, Eleanor Parker was Dan Parker's daughter-in-law. Okay, so she knew Butch. So Dan was Butch's next younger brother that also ended up in jail for a while. Anyway, Eleanor said that Butch visited his brother Dan in Milford, Utah in late 1930 or 31. Butch's father, Maximilian, and two brothers were also present. They talked for 3 or 4 hours. So, we've got all kinds of people that
Okay, but there's a question that comes up is if he's still wanted by the authorities.
But they're keeping a secret.
I know, but this is the part that you've got to question. You know as well as I do that if you tell somebody, don't tell anybody, it's a secret, it'll spread like wildfire.
These people had more integrity. They didn't squeal. That's all I can say. I don't know because he was around.
Do you personally believe these?
I do.
These quotations.
This guy has documented this, and again, let me tell you, folks. Bill Bentonson is the great uncle of Butch Cassidy, and the research
he can't be the great uncle.
A great nephew.
I was going to say, man, you're kind of putting the cart before the horse there.
All right, but a great nephew.
There you go.
So anyway, now we come to a guy named Merrill Johnson, a Utah State patrolman. He pulled over an old man near Kanab, Utah in July of 1941. For failing to stop at a stop sign. He gave the guy a warning ticket. Well, later, this guy, Merrill, returned to Kanab to find the same old man at the home of his in-laws, some people called the Kitchens. He was introduced to the old man as an old friend of the Kitchens, Bob Parker Butch Cassidy.
Okay, now.
So he'd been pulled over,
yeah,
but he didn't know who he was.
But my question is, where did who wrote the book again?
Bill Bentonson.
Bill Bentonson. How did he get these direct quotes from these various
interviews?
people?
He has interviewed these people. He spent a lot of time and effort doing that. That's why, the index on back here is thick with references. So I think they're really accurate. Now, there's another guy named John Burroughs who was a well-respected historian, and Burroughs accepted that Sundance had died in Bolivia, but he questioned whether Butch had been killed down there. And he said, I am positive that Butch Cassidy returned to the United States, where he lived to be an old man. Just who was killed along with Harry Longbow or Sundance remains open. So, we've just got all kinds of references. Here's another one. Dr. David Love was a well-renowned historian, and Dr. Love says he visited the office of his longtime family doctor, a guy by the name of Dr. Francis Smith, in Lander in about 1923. Now, Doc Smith told him that one of his recent office visitors had been Robert Leroy Parker, Butch. Smith related that Cassidy had appeared in his doorway at his place. He lifted his shirt, exposing a deep crease of a repaired bullet wound that Dr. Smith had repaired years and years prior. So you've got a doctor looking at some of his work and saying, yeah, this is Butch because I did this. I fixed...
You're saying that they kept the secret.
Yeah.
But they didn't keep the secret when they made the quotations and the statements that, yes, they had seen him.
Yes.
So, basically you've got a kind of a oxymoron here.
But these didn't come out till years later, till after he was dead. Okay? Hang in here with me, Zeb. So, here's what the author says. Okay, I'm going to quote Bill Bentonson. He says, when dozens of people testify that Butch returned and they personally saw him, I believe their accounts should be given credence, especially since no real proof exists to the contrary. Why should we disregard them? I have spent much of my life trailing down every piece of information I can about Robert Leroy Parker, a.k.a. Butch Cassidy, examining it with an open mind and sharing it with others for their ideas and insights. Lulu Parker Bentonson, my great-grandmother, and I knew her well. I believe and support her account of the return of her brother in 1925. Now,
when did he write this book? What year? It should be in the front.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I was just curious as to when he wrote this.
Like 2013, maybe.
Okay.
Back in there.
All right.
So here's Lulu, Butch's youngest sister. So in the summer of 1968, the filming of the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, it was underway in Snow Canyon near St. George, Utah.
Yes.
Okay, the film company's representative had just learned that Butch Cassidy's real sister was alive, Lulu, and living in the nearby town of Circleville, Utah. Well, they decided to invite her to the set, and here she is at 85 years old, very, very lively and alert. She was active. She was eager to get out and meet new people. She considered the invitation a privilege and an opportunity to talk about her brother. So Lulu arrived and was introduced to actor Paul Newman, who obviously was portraying her brother, and Robert Redford, who, of course, played the Sundance Kid. And they actually became very good friends, Robert Redford and Lulu, and corresponded for years after that.
Well, then, pardon me for another question. You're used to that. Why then didn't she, Lulu, and other members of the family, like this gentleman that wrote the book, demand that they portray that Butch was not killed in Bolivia?
That's too easy. There's no suspense there, Zeb. You got to have an exciting ending.
You would have thought that Lulu would have actually tried to put her foot down on that a little bit.
You know, and by this time,
it's a fair question.
It is, and obviously Butch is dead now. By this time, but you know, it was a family secret. I mean, let me just read this last little bit, okay? And maybe this might help answer that. Lulu kept many things secret about her brother because of promises that she had made to her father and family many years earlier, all right? However, most significantly in her book, she revealed that Butch Cassidy was not killed in South America, but had returned to Circleville to visit the family in 1925. So she wrote a book, too. Lulu did. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but anyway. So Lulu knew where Butch died and where he was buried, but she swore she would never reveal where he was buried. She feared that if she told, his remains would be disturbed. In the early 1970s, for example, the graves of outlaws Joe Walker and Johnny Herring were dug up in Price, Utah, and this bothered Lulu a lot. She didn't like that. And she said that Butch had been chased his whole life, and she wanted his remains to rest in peace. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions, I know, Zeb. But, like I say, I mean...
Okay, let's look at this with kind of an inquiring mind, like the Inquirer.
Okay, look at all these pages
I know it.
of research. I mean, there's probably 30 or 40 pages of interviews and research.
Well, I would say this. If he came back and if he went and met with the family and various friends, then it would stand to mind that he probably lived, resided, and died within the area, perhaps, of Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho. Somewhere in that tri-state area.
Yeah.
And that's somewhere where that funeral and that burial took place. But you can't just hide a dead body and transport it, for heaven's sake.
They used aliases all the time. I mean, Butch and Sundance both had all kinds of names they used. And so I'm guessing that in those latter years, even though some people knew it was Butch, when he went other places, he would use a different name. And so when he died, I'm sure it was not under his name.
What do you think?
I think it's true. I think this guy has done the most extensive research, and I've read quite a few things about Butch, and this is the best book I've ever...
We've got a caller with a question. I've only got a short time left. Caller, real fast. Go ahead.
Yes, just quickly, in the latest edition of Cowboys and Indians, there are quotes from Lulu that he spent his last days in the state of Washington. And there is another fun movie called Treasure Seekers based on that fact, and they end up going to visit him in Washington.
What do you think, caller? Honestly, what do you think?
Oh, I think he came. I think he lived and he came back.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot for another Old West legend. Do you believe that Billy the Kid died in that town by Pat Garrett, or do you think he became Brushy Bill?
Well, that's another thing that's talked about here in this magazine, and it looks like he became Brushy Bill.
Aha! Thank you for your call. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's some of the research that I have come up to, that Washington, somewhere in the state of Washington is where he's
But you know what's interesting about this? Where did they say that Billy the Kid did all of his terror, if you will, and shootings? It was in New Mexico.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And that's where he supposedly died, in New Mexico. Where did you say that Sundance Kid? New Mexico.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things going on in New Mexico and a lot of problems down there.
Well, it's just amazing that last week I ran across this whole story, about 15 pages, of a family's history regarding Sundance who killed one of their family members.
Oh, they really had a bad Thanksgiving that year.
And so we're going to go through that next week to kind of finish up this Butch and Sundance thing.
Really, this opens the door for so much thought about the old legends. A lot of them.
And they're different people's ideas. And in fact, when I read this about Sundance, I looked on the internet, and there's a few people on there say, no, that's not Sundance. He doesn't even look like Sundance, or, well, we don't look at our age the same we did when we were 25. Now, you and I we're still pretty good-looking guys, but,
throw me a quarter. Throw me a quarter. But, I love this story, and can I say this, or would it be giving away too much, that we're going to have this man that wrote this book on this program in about a month?
If we can work that out, it would be great to have him do an interview, and I'll be getting a hold of him and see if we can get him to come on the show in about a month.
Wow. It's really an infatuating story.
It really is. I've gone through this book. You can see.
Yeah, you
beat it to death.
You've torn that thing apart. Hey, I got to run.
All right.
All I can say is outstanding job. Outstanding job.
This has been fun. I've been excited about this one.
We got to do another one. We did a couple on Billy the Kid, but I think it bears that we do another one.
We might have to look back into that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dr. History. God bless you.
You have a good day, Zeb.
Thank you, sir. Wow, do I enjoy having this segment on my program. I love the Old West and some of the old stories. And, quite frankly, if you want my opinion, I don't think that he died in Bolivia. I really don't. Well, now that I've opened that up, we're going to say, hey, don't forget on Thursdays, we also have Cassia County School Days segment on our program at 10:10 on Thursdays, brought to you by A Child's World. Holy cow, summer clothes, 50% off. You better get in there. And all the baby furniture and the games and the puzzles and the toys and the Cherokee scrubs, everything there for you at a family store, A Child's World. 1308 Overland in Burley, bringing you School Days in Cassia County on Thursdays at 10:10. Right now, I'm going to say goodbye to Dr. History. You listen to this next report on K-Bar.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Good morning. We want to welcome back. They used to be on our program. They're back again, and we are so blessed to have Syringa Plaza, a lovely and affordable senior community in Burley, Idaho. And I just want to give a little bit more of a plug to them this morning, being back on our program for the first time in a long time. Syringa Plaza now serves low-income seniors who maintain an independent living status with or without assistance. And some of the special features over at Syringa Plaza include one-bedroom apartments with carpeting and window coverings and safety features, and kitchen with electric range and refrigerator, emergency call system, ample community space, all utilities provided. I'm telling you, please, seniors, take care of yourselves and make a call to Syringa Plaza. The number is 677-4204. I'll repeat that number, 677-4204. They're located at 626 Elba Avenue in Burley, Syringa Plaza. Please call them today. I'll tell you something else that I'm really high on, and that's the horse business. And I'll tell you, this young man, I say young, he's getting a little old and gray like I am. He's done an outstanding job in furthering and promoting the name Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch in Oakley. And my good friend Jerry Zollinger on the phone, how are you?
I am alive, Zeb. I can see the big old sunshine out there and the green grass. I love it.
All right, now I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, and I don't mean to, but you mean a lot to us and our family and everything over the many, many years. You've had some itty-bitty health problems that could have been real, real bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Do a few tests tomorrow, and hopefully I get a clear bill to get moving and get going again. But, yeah, it's a spooky deal, and it was one of those things that you don't monkey with. And I didn't know nothing about it, and it just kind of hit me all of a sudden, no health problems or nothing. All of a sudden, wham, there it was. So.
Well, let's be real honest, Jerry. When you mess around with the old ticker, it's sometimes, you got to put everything else on hold, and so I certainly hope and pray that you're getting better.
I am. I feel pretty strong today, so.
All right. Now, the big sale is coming up on Saturday, and I just can't emphasize enough to people, I know these horses, I know the bloodlines, I know the breeding, I know the disposition, I know when they pick their feet up, they know where they're going to put them down. I'm going to brag on them, but you're the owner. You tell me, are these really that good of horses? Go ahead.
Zeb, my dad's bred these horses for dang near 60 years, and then I've kind of taken over the last few years, and my wife and my family's kind of furthered it on. We've added a few different stud horses and a few different programs, but our goal is to make a performance horse, or a horse that you or I or your wife can get on and go for a ride, not have to worry about nothing, and enjoy it. Horses are therapeutic. I mean, when you're having a bad day, you can go put your arm around them, and nothing like pet wanting to be able to talk to them without having somebody talk back at you, and tell them your problems. I mean, they're very therapeutic. And these horses are raised out in the rocks and the brush and rough country, and they do know where to put their feet down. They don't stumble, and I'm proud of them. It's taken me a few years to kind of realize what we had, but they are good horses.
Well, I'm just going to...
a lot of time getting them.
I want to say this, in respects to your dad and the history of the Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch. When you say they're raised out in the rocks, and I've mentioned many times they know where to pick their feet up and where to put them down, it's a lot different. And I'm not trying to denigrate any other breeding operation, but it's a lot different than some of these feeding leaders that only know a corral or only know an arena or only know going to the box stall. These horses know about being out in conditions where they have to keep their balance and know what they're doing.
True. And I'm the same way. I mean, we're just very fortunate that that's the ground that we get to run on, and we don't monkey with them, and most of them's pasture bred, and we kick them out on the mountains, and they go uphill, downhill, across creeks, rocks. They know where to put their feet and where not to.
Jerry, what about these horses as far as the bloodlines? I want to emphasize to people that we're not just talking common, ordinary quarter horses. We're talking about horses that have been featured in national magazines. True.
Our basis on our mare band is the Leo. Leo is known for his maternity sides. They're known to produce colts that's with good minds and big bone and be able to do anything. They're athletic. They're bred to run to start with, and they got to figuring out they could cut on them, they could trail ride on them, they could team sort, they could do anything in the world on them. But them mares cross with anything. You can breed a donkey to them and have a good one. And that's kind of what our mare band's based on, of them.
Now, how many horses are you running right now as far as brood mares are concerned, Jerry?
Make sure nobody's listening, but I run about 70 head of mares and 9 stallions.
Holy smokes. Now, what about the horse owner or horse buyer for this sale? Let's say that somebody is a novice, they really don't know what's going on, they want to come out, they want to check out these great horses, or on the other side of the spectrum, you've got people that really deal in great horses. How do you appease both kinds?
Zeb, we got repeat buyers that come from all over the world, and well, maybe not world, but to me it is. They come from back east and California, and they're repeat buyers. They know what they get when they buy. They know what they're after. But I also get them new ones that's never had a colt. I try to match them up. I try to kind of send them in the direction that I feel what they're after and what they're wanting to do. I try to put them that way. Usually these colts. Most of our sales all colts, but they grow up and they just seem to be good family horses. I haven't yet, knock on wood, had one that I didn't like, even this year. I've got a heck of a time trying to pick the top 15 out of them, So I just try to match them up with what they're looking for, and kind of point them in that direction if they're new. And they're more than welcome to come look anytime. Everything's home there now, and I'm up there all week. So.
Well, now that's the point I was going to ask about. Now, a lot of people, you've got catalogs available and information and numbers that they can call, but what about going on the Internet? Something I'm not very good at, but can they go on the Internet and find out about these horses?
Yes, I'm the same as you, and I don't like the Internet very much, but they can go on to ZollingerRanch.com, and they can kind of look through a profile on it. They can go on there and look at the production sale, and forgive me, but it comes up with 2017 on the headings, but it is 2018 colts. They can read through them, and if there's any questions, man, I'm good to BS with them. So.
Well, let me ask you this, Jerry. How did this start? I mean, your dad, when he put this all together and the family, how did this sale get to be where it is today?
A lot of hard work and dedication to what you believe in. You've got to believe in the product that you're going to sell no matter what it is, whether it's tractors or whether it's cars or whatever. You've got to believe in them. And my dad's love for horses was unreal. You could list a name, and he could go back 15 generations to that horse, and he could tell you exactly what they've done in that. He studied them nonstop, and he's sought out the best bloodlines that would cross over. And he always told me if you couldn't buy what you wanted, he says try to breed to the best one that you could, and try to better yourself every year. And I have bred a few mares outside myself to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is tough. I understand where he's coming from on it. It's real easy to have a stud horse and a mare, but it's to get them sought-after bloodlines. That old blood's gone.
Yeah.
It's hard to find. And I've been on I look every day for that old school and then cross back to the new, and I think that's the golden gift. I think that's what kind of balances everything out on the colts themselves.
Where do you think we are today, Jerry, in the horse business? Is there increasing interest? Is there more opportunity? I know that unfortunately with the economy the way it's been prior to this administration, a lot of my good friends that were in the horse business, Texas and Oklahoma, etc., they're out of business. What's the future look like?
Zeb, I really think that it's got a bright future. The way I look at it, too, Mom and Dad might love the horse, but the kids ain't interested. Here's the cue, is to introduce them kids when they're young. Let them get involved in that horse and, that horse, and let them know that they're not scary animals. And I think introduction is going to be the big kick on the horse industry for our future. Get away from the computers.
Amen.
I know that's hard to say, but we live daily by them, and we're on a time schedule everywhere we go, and we can't be that way anymore. We've got to sit back and smell the roses, and I figured that out here this week. So,
well, now let's go through some of the colts and fillies that are going to be for sale up there. What about some of these horses? Have you got some of your favorites you want to point out right now?
Well, I can start from 1 and go to 30.
Oh.
You get attached to these colts. I understand where my dad collected them. I mean, when in the springtime when they come out, it's kind of like opening a Christmas present every morning. You're just waiting for that cross, and you don't know what color you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get at all, and you're happy every time it's born. And so I've had a heck of a time, like I said, picking the top ends, but I really got the lot number 1 colt. That's my favorite, and he's just a regular bay, but he's a well-bred colt by a daughter of Lad Leo, which is a granddaughter of Leo, and on the top side he's by a Poco Blackburn horse that I acquired that's 27 years old, and he does produce a hip and a good mind on him.
What about the usage of these horses? Let's say you get a first-time buyer or a family that's first time in the horse business. What kind of questions are they going to ask about these colts, and what kind of future are they looking for? Give us kind of an amateur outlook as to what these families might want to ask on these horse sales.
The first question that I always get is, are they going to grow up and are they going to buck? That's the first thing I ever hear, and you can't ever guarantee that. I know that, but let me tell you, the horses that I've got, I've picked up for many years on them. They put me through high school, college, my daughter through college, and I've never yet to have one really buck. They've always been dang good-minded, and that's the first thing that they always ask me. And really, I've never had anybody ask me anything but that, or anything. No upkeep on them or nothing. But the main reason they usually ask is that today's society can't handle that, and I'm trying like heck not to produce something like that. And I know everybody else is the same way, but.
Jerry, take us through, if you would, in the time remaining in this interview, what happens on sale day this coming Saturday the 8th? I mean, give us kind of a thumbnail sketch of what the public can expect up there at the ranch.
Friday night, or even Friday, anybody that's around is more than welcome to come up and they can drive out through the field and look at them and see in their natural environment. That's the best way to pick a colt for me, to see how they get along with the others and see which one's curious and, stuff like that. Sale day, I start at 6 and kind of gather them up. And as soon as the light hits where we don't step in no holes or nothing, we gather them up and bring them in and kind of catch a few mares and tie them up along the fence and brush them like anybody else would for a sale to get them cleaned up a little bit, and then people's welcome to walk through them there. And 10 o'clock, we usually have a preview of our riding horses, but we don't have any this year. They're strictly colts mainly. There is a couple mares that's broke to ride that's in the sale that hasn't been rode for a few years, but at 11 o'clock we start right on the dot, and it's rapid fire. We'll go through them 40 head of horses in probably 2 hours.
Now, tell us a little bit about the sale as far as the auctioneers and what takes place that day. Give the buyer that's never been to a sale before, give them some information as to what they need to know.
They come in, they register, get their number, make sure you're familiar with the terms and conditions of the sale, and that don't mean just mine, that means anybody's sale that you go to. Make sure you know that. Make sure you read through it so your understanding's very clear of what goes on. Like our deal here, you'll buy a weaner colt. We load them up on your trailer. Once they step in that trailer, they're yours. You take them home. They're not halter broke. There is a couple that is, but most of them's not halter broke. I do that for a reason, for them to learn that experience of halter breaking if they've never done it from the ground up and gentling. It's chaos for me, but it's relaxing and it's fun and it's great to see new friends and old friends, It goes pretty fast.
Well, a lot of people are so concerned about various colors of horses, etc. Give us a breakdown. Are they a lot of roans and bays? Tell us about that.
Zeb, I've got some unique colors this year, some that I don't know how I got, but I got some. I've got 3 or 4 blue roan colts, red roan colts. I've got grays. I've got bays. The only color that I have trouble getting is a black colt, and hopefully to change that here shortly. I've even got a pink colt that's pretty. He's more red than white, but he's pretty. I've got every color under the rainbow that you can think of, pretty much. Got duns, palominos, buckskin roans. I mean, I've got a lot of different colors on there, but there's a lot of different pedigrees that matches up to them, too. The beauty of it is if they get a filly or something like that, they have something in the future. I've always been a filly man, and they're usually your cheapest buy at a sale is a filly.
All right. Well, now, if you would, give us a complete synopsis of all the telephone numbers and the email and how they can get a look at these horses on Facebook or whatever. Tell us all the information.
All right. First of all, they can call me, Jerry, at area code 208-670-3833. Or you can call my daughter at 670-7063. Or the ranch and leave a message. It's 862-3402. You can look at us I'm always posting stuff on Facebook, and it's under Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch. And then if you want to look on the internet, it's ZollingerRanch.com. And you can go through everything on there. It hasn't been fully updated. We're still kind of same as technology, Zeb. I'm not that good at it, but we're trying to update the website as we go. And so we're trying to do. Our guy lives in Utah. It's a long story, but we're trying to get it, where it's back here where we can work on it every day. But
okay,
try to update it all the time.
Now let me ask you this question because I want people to know where this sale is going to be. I want you to specifically give us the exact location and how to get there at Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch.
The ranch and the sale is at 1994 South, Oakley, Idaho, which is, if you're familiar with Oakley, you go to the Oakley stop sign and go left towards Elba, go 5 miles, and you kind of run into a dead end, and it's on your right-hand side in the big gray indoor arena.
All right. Jerry, I mean this from Deanne and I. God's blessings on your health, and I certainly hope all goes well. It's your great big 30th annual production sale this Saturday up at Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch in Oakley. God bless you, man, and I hope you have the best sale ever.
Zeb, I appreciate you and your wife and all that you've done for us. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on air. So I very appreciate it.
All right, my friend. Have a great sale, and let us know how it goes, please.
We will. Thank you, Zeb.
All right, Jerry, take care. Good guy, great friend, Jerry Zollinger, Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch. Big sale this Saturday up at the ranch. Holy moly, I got to get a weather forecast on here real quick, and the weather's brought to you by our friends at Scarrows Meats. Oh, yes, I've got to remind you, Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew with all the delicious meats. Go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com, or give them a call at 324-7657. They're located at 331 North Road, Jerome, Scarrows Meats. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We're expecting a beautiful week here as we are inside the month of September, and the high-pressure system is going to be sticking around for this week. Here's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch. Expecting sunny skies for today and a high of 84. Tonight, clear skies, expecting a low of 51. Winds picking up out of the west, right around 8 miles an hour. For tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 87 with an overnight low of 54. As we get to Thursday, warming up to 88, possible 90 degrees under sunny skies, just depending upon where you're at around the Magic Valley. Thursday night, partly cloudy skies with a low of 55. By Friday, as we get ready for the weekend, mostly sunny skies with a high of 87 and cooling off to 82 under sunny skies for Saturday. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, she does a great job. Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Don Scarrow and the crew. Great crew with the most of the delicious meats at Scarrows Meats. Still time to get outside in this great weather and have a barbecue. They've got all the meats, the pork ribs and the beef and the chicken and all the pork. Oh, it's beef. It's delicious at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. They are changing the way we eat, one bite at a time. Hey, I know somebody that's having a great big fall tire sale. Woo, yeah, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow, I'm telling you, they've got all the tires for your car, your pickup, your SUV, all your tires. And listen, some of these great buys, like for your pickup and SUV, the Backcountry All-Terrain Tire, all-season tread, advanced noise reduction, just $147.07. Ho, check it out. And for your cars, they've got great buys like this. The Eclipse tire, premium traction, superior ride quality, just $91.19. Check these out, along with the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, but above all, the best in service. These people at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers really provide service to you. The best. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Tomorrow's Wednesday, abbreviated work week. I hope you're having a great one. I'm going to get some sleep. Last night was a short night, and I hope you have a great day. Please tune in tomorrow at 8:06, Zeb at the Ranch, right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be, and the world needs more cowboys. Good morning, everybody.